Emily Franks. Hi, Emily Franks
Yeah, it's not just Emily though.
Okay, so I have a
Hi,
couple
Jessica.
things to hand out.
And Gina?
and Gina.
Start with. I'm gonna take one and pass it over. I could. Oh, there we go.
Aw.
Okay,
Here, take one
so,
and pass it.
yeah, so this is just a notes, sheet for anybody who wants to take notes, and here's some pens too. So on the notes sheet, you'll see the main thing that you have to pay attention to, there's 4 different sections. The biggest one is for notes. On the right hand side, as I'm talking, if you hear me talking about an oil that you're like, I need that, I really would benefit from having that oil, you can write those down in the right box. And then on the bottom, as I'm talking about the oils, if you think of friends or family that would benefit from a certain oil, there's a section to write that down. And then the last section is any questions that you have, if you can hold them till the end, because I may answer your question as we go along. So you just fill that out as you go, and then the next thing I have, so for those of you who have heard about, or well, either some of you have been in a class that I've taught before about Young Living essential oils, or for any of you who already do know some about essential oils, there have been a lot of changes since, I mean, it's been a year since I did the last class for you guys, and there's been a lot of changes as far as how we can talk about essential oils because of the FDA and the FDA's restrictions. And so the FDA approached Young Living last year and basically said your members are not complying with our rules and regulations. And basically what sparked that was the Ebola virus last year, and a lot of Young Living members, not just Young Living, but Young Living was one of them, that there was a lot of members that were saying, well, I'm not worried about Ebola virus because I have my essential oils, you know, and so the FDA is really concerned about that. They don't like it when we say that anything can cure a disease or a virus or et cetera, fill in the blank, unless it's a drug that has been approved by the FDA. So,
They're not getting any money out of it.
yeah. So, Young Living, or the FDA approached Young Living and said, basically, your members are not compliant, so you need to tell them that they need to be compliant, because the FDA could shut Young Living down, and then the oils would no longer be available to us. So that's why we need to be compliant, even though it's frustrating and it seems like it's more about money than anything else, especially because the oils really are beneficial in a lot of different ways. Right now, we can still talk about them, we can still use them, we can still buy them, we just have to be careful how we talk about them. So the way that they have, a lot of people in Young Living are explaining, I guess, the difference now is if you think about if you have a line like in your health, and below the line is anything that's unhealthy, not well, illness, disease, again, fill in the blank, whatever that could be. Any kind of diagnosis where something isn't working the way that it was intended to work in our bodies. So if this is the wellness line, all that stuff is down here. So above the wellness line is our immune system, our respiratory system, any systems of the body that are already functioning the way that they are supposed to. That is how the oils can help. So the oils can strengthen our immune system, they can support our respiratory system, they can, you know, they're helping something that's already in theory functioning well function better. But we can't say anything that's, so one example would be like the flu. So we can't say, I had the flu, I used this oil, now I'm better, because that's bringing something from below the wellness line to above the wellness line. But we can say, I use this oil to boost my immune system or support my immune system.
Wow.
Yes. So this is the first class that I have taught since all these changes have happened. So be please patient and gracious with me as as I go through, I'll be using my
We
notes.
won't tell anybody if you
No,
tell
I
us it
know.
the other way.
No, I know. It's just, and I'm
Recorded
trying
this.
not to. Yeah, it's being recorded. And the
So
other,
Violet will get in trouble.
yeah. So, and the other part of it is just that for me, in teaching this class, I'm setting an example of how we should be talking about it. And so if I'm not compliant and I'm teaching you, who cares about their rules? Do what you want to do. That's not really the right thing for me to do. So, so I have a handout that has some examples. This is something that Young Living made. So it's say this, not this. So it has
Even though it
examples.
means the same thing. How do
Yeah.
you word it?
So for example, here's what not to say. I diffuse joy. Joy is an essential oil blend by Young Living. I diffuse joy to treat my depression. You cannot say that because depression is a clinical diagnosis that you could have. But you could say, I diffuse joy for a warm and comforting aroma. My teenage daughter uses tea tree oil topically to eliminate cystic acne. Cannot say that. But you could say, my teenage daughter uses tea tree oil topically to reduce the appearance of blemishes. So these are just some examples. So if you guys want to take one, some of them are black and white, but they're harder to read. So if you have good eyesight, take the black and white one. If you don't have good eyesight, take a colored one.
So if
So
you're
you
young, take the black and white copy.
Also, I do have, I'll put it out at the end. I have a sheet to, if there's anything that we talked about that you want a copy of, like I can send you I think it's a PDF or whatever it is. I can email it to you. I'll have a sheet out so you can put your email address and then whatever information you want me to follow up with you about, you can just write that on there. So if you want the, PDF version of this, just write that down for me so I can get that to you.
Didn't even have to think about
Oh my goodness. This peppermint thing though, like peppermint as an herb is carminative, so it helps with like constipation and stomach griping and all. So technically you could say that you treat your constipation with it because it's just an herb even though it's the oil. This is weird.
Is it like dependent on whether or not what you're talking about is a actual disease or a condition? Because I know sometimes there's a difference. Like you can say that well, I guess it depends on the business, of course, but wouldn't it be like you can't say that something treats cancer, but like, diarrhea or whatever, constipation is more of a condition. So could you say that it treats? Because people.
Because you're not saying it's curing it.
Right.
Yeah, but it's treating it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It says
I mean,
can't.
yeah, I mean, the way that you would say it is like peppermint oil supports your digestive system. Like that's
Okay.
the way.
It's
that,
all in semantics. That's all.
Yeah, and so we have to. I mean, we were for a long time. We were doing like what they call, what is it? Like linguistic gymnastics is I think what they were calling it. Where we couldn't say allergies. We can't talk about allergies anymore. So we used to have we would name our classes like the spring sniffles, but like we're talking about allergies, but but we can't do things like that either. So anymore. So yeah, I mean the biggest thing is the other part, the benefit to it. Like right now it's hard because everyone's transitioning from we used to do it this way for a really long time and now we have to talk about it this way. So right now it's really hard, but really it's what will end up happening is it encourages each of us individually to be our own advocates for our own health and to do our own research because that's what we should do. We shouldn't take everything that we hear as fact and then just do it without really thinking about it. And so even though it is frustrating, it does kind of force us to do our own research and not be lazy about, just figuring out what's best for us. Because each of us is different, our life circumstances are different, our stress levels are different, our immune systems are different, and the way that we're gonna respond to whether it's an herb or an oil or a supplement, whatever it is, might be different, where one might really work really well for someone and another one, for someone else, it doesn't work. So because of that, we should be researching and just, looking into those things for ourselves. And it also keeps me from becoming the ailment diagnosis queen. It's too much pressure for someone like me who's not a trained medical professional to have some people asking me like, what should I do for this? What should I do for this? You know, and so it also just and also for you as you're using the oils and because what will happen if you use the oils is that you just love them and you tell people about them and you enjoy using them, and so then as people ask you, it's the same thing. Try to stay away from helping people treat because we're not supposed to be treating our ailments with essential oils. I mean, that is what we're doing when we're in our own homes and with our families, and if there's a certain symptom that I have, like I've done the research and I know what may help me, and so I use it. But in the way we talk about it, we just have to be careful how we.
Now, are they gonna have to rewrite their books?
Well, the books are not they're third party
Oh.
things, so we'll see what happens, because even this is really silly and frustrating, but right now we have been told that we cannot share it's so silly, we cannot share what the resources are that we use unless we're speaking to somebody who's already a Young Living member, because I have the potential to make money by talking about oils. And so that removes me from being under the free speech laws, and now it's under commercial speech. So that's like part of the complication too. But so with the third party stuff, the third party resources and like research,
So it's not free
or
speech
reference
anymore
books.
at all because they're guiding you, so our free speech is kinda going out the window
Well,
altogether.
No, that's what
Only
I'm saying.
because
It's
she's
different.
selling it and
It's
making
because-
money off of it.
Because I can make money off of it, that's why it becomes commercial speech and not free speech. Not because they're taking away my free speech rights, it's that by the fact that I choose to teach classes and earn some money off of it, it makes it commercial speech. Anyways, I didn't mean to get into all those details, but as far as the books are concerned, all I can say, because there are people in the room that are not members of Young Living, is that there are plenty of research materials and reference books available, and I can tell you websites to go to where you can look for them. But because right now those materials are considered non-compliant by the FDA, so if I tell you go look at them, then I'm not being non-compliant. So I can tell you the websites to go to, and then you can find them on your own. But then once you become a member, we can talk about those things freely. So I'm working really hard to have a good attitude and be compliant. So, all of that being said, now would be a good time. I'm gonna take a drop of stress away, because it's a little stressful topic. And I'm gonna just put a couple drops in my hands, and then if anybody else wants to do this as well, just put it in your hands and just inhale it. We'll pass it around.
Is that what you have in?
Yeah, that's what we're diffusing as well. So you just put a drop or two in your hands. The only thing I ask is don't touch the plastic at the top because that has my germs on it. So I don't want your germs. So
That's one of my favorite oils.
So, all right. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica. I have been using Young Living oils for 2 years now, and teaching classes I think for about a year and a half. And when I started using the oils, I had no intention of doing the business or teaching classes. I just wanted to see if I liked them, if they worked. But it really is as soon as you start using them, especially when you start using them on a daily basis. They are really helpful and beneficial, and so very quickly, within like the first month or 6 weeks, I was like, thank you. I was just completely sold, and I was, like I said, what happens, like, once you start using them, you realize how much you love them, and you just start telling people about them. Some people started wanting to sign up through me, so I was making money off them, and it was like I can do this, I can teach class, it's not ever what I expected to do, but, yeah, so I'm really passionate about just, serving a community of people that care about what they put in their bodies and on their bodies, and I enjoy helping people live healthy lives, and even though I'm by far not perfect at that, but yeah, I just enjoy helping, I enjoy talking about it and talking about how can we have make healthier choices and make choices that are better for our bodies. And so part of that is just by teaching people how to be their own health advocates. Like I was saying, we really do have to be advocates for ourselves. As educated consumers, it's important that we don't take anything we hear at face value. We should seek to learn to listen to our own bodies and our family's bodies and take responsibility for our lifestyle choices. So, the fact that so the fact that you're here means probably one of the following scenarios might fit with you. Maybe you've heard the hype about essential oils and want to see what all the fuss is about, or you're ready to support your immune system, take control of your health, and possibly even your finances. You may have noticed just looking around in our culture just how our healthcare and food systems are failing us. Perhaps you want to get toxic chemicals out of your home or make your own natural beauty products. You might be active and have a desire to be in even better health with quicker recovery times. Or many of us, I'm sure, could use help improving our moods. So that's also something, especially with the help of Stress Away. So some of this stuff is a little bit what we were already talking about. Just basically a disclaimer, just to get out of the way. I have been researching and educating myself about the oils, and I've been really enjoying using them for the last couple of years. But I'm not here to tell you how to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. For a diagnosis, you need to talk to a medical doctor. More than likely, your doctor will not be trained in essential oils, and you'll need to do your own research first. And this is where it just comes in that we have to be our own advocates and be willing to do that. So there are an abundance of resources that we all have at our fingertips. The easiest way to learn how to use your oils is to just dig into those resources. So here's a couple websites that you can go to find the resources I'm talking about. One of them is called Abundant Health for You, and the URL is abundanthealth4u.com. And then the second one is Life Science Publishers, who publishes a lot of the reference books that we were talking about. Their website is discoverlsp.com.
What is it?
discoverlsp.com. So this class is going to help you start on that path, and it's just the beginning of the opportunities that you have to really dig into those resources. Okay, so what I shared during our time together should not be taken as medical advice. I'll be reading from my notes during class to make sure I cover all the useful information that I have for you. This is an FDA compliant class, and no one will be discussing any abnormal states of the body or any disease state of the body. I'm here to help you learn what essential oils are and how you can incorporate them into your everyday life to support your various body systems. Is there any questions about that before we move on? All right. So, what are Young Living essential oils? I really do believe that, move these out of the way a little bit, that through nature and through the things that have been provided to us on Earth, we have really all that we need as far as medicine through plants, and that's where the plants that are used for essential oils have been around longer than we have, and humans have been using nature's abundance for obvious reasons like mood, supporting the immune system, food, and even shelter. And so the distillation of essential oils has been done for centuries and used for various powerful applications. So essential oils are highly concentrated aromatic essences of trees, shrubs, herbs, grasses, resins, and flowers. So when you have a plant and you break open the stem and you see that fluid that comes out, that's where the essential oil comes from. But through the distillation process, it becomes a highly concentrated fluid. So essential oils are greaseless. They are not greasy, they're greaseless. So they're not like the oils that you might cook with in your kitchen, like olive oil or coconut oil, how those have that greasy consistency. Essential oils are not greasy. So essential oils within a plant, they act as the plant's natural defense and protective mechanisms. and they work the same in our body as they do in nature. So the way that they work in our bodies is they penetrate into our cell membranes and disperse into our blood and tissues. One drop of essential oil can contain countless molecules that affect our bodies at the cellular level. Their purpose is to help support all of our body systems by keeping our bodies clean and our systems functioning as they should. On average, each essential oil contains hundreds of constituents, and there's more being discovered all the time. Lavender oil, for example, has approximately 200 different constituents in it, which is what makes lavender oil so versatile. So the power of an essential oil is in the chemical compounds and their synergy in the way that they work. So the key to producing therapeutic grade essential oils is to preserve as many of those constituents or compounds as possible. So the distillation process has to be they have to be very careful with how they distill the oil to make sure they protect all those compounds. Even the smallest compound plays an important role in arriving at the final result of the essential oil. And so one way to think about it is with music, whether it's a symphony or even just a song that you hear, and how there's all the different parts, all the different instruments, people singing different parts, all of those things. Even if the smallest role or smallest instrument is out of tune or playing the wrong note, it makes a huge difference in how it sounds. So you can think about essential oils in the same way. There's so many different constituents within the oil, but if even one of them is not right, it really has a dramatic effect on the final result. So with that, we want to be really clear that not all essential oils are created equal. With that, we will then talk about purity of essential oils. So it's really important when you're smelling different oils, different brands of oils, to pay attention to the fragrance of the oil. And so one example, just to demonstrate that, is with peppermint essential oil. If you ever smell a peppermint essential oil that smells very sweet, like a candy cane, then that is an indication that is most likely not a pure essential oil. Because peppermint plants do not smell like candy canes, and so peppermint oil should also not smell like candy canes. And it's also not uncommon for Young Living's lavender to have different smells, where each bottle might smell a little bit different than the one before it. And part of that, which I think it's in the next section. I'll get to that. Alright, so plants seek to live in a state of homeostasis, and this allows the plant's properties to have some fluctuation within therapeutic ranges. So that kind of explains why each bottle can smell a little bit different. And so if you're looking at a line of oils and you smell multiple bottles of their peppermint oil or lavender oil, whatever, if they all smell exactly the same, that's another just red flag of why do they smell exactly the same? Because if they really are a pure oil that is therapeutic grade and has been distilled properly, each batch is not going to smell exactly the same because every plant is different. So here are just some interesting facts about Young Living. Young Living completes 8 different tests on every batch of oil that's made, and third-party tests are also done by independent labs. Young Living is the only essential oil company with their own farms, and because of this, they are able to have a seed-to-seal guarantee. So that seed-to-seal is like Young Living's stamp of approval or promise to us that it's their commitment to purity and authenticity. Because Young Living believes that we use their products that are genuine, free of synthetic chemicals, and of unmatched purity, and that is what we get with Young Living. And so the seed to seal is a promise to you and to us, and a reflection of Young Living's sense of global stewardship. So Gary Young is the founder of Young Living, and he's so passionate about his call to stewardship that he will not grow or harvest plants in soil if the land has been used to farm anything else within the previous 50 years. So that means no animals, no plants of any kind, because he doesn't want to risk residual pesticides, herbicides, hormones, antibiotics from animal waste, any of those kinds of things. So it's just so that important to him that all of the products that come from Young Living are of the highest standard, that he won't even use that land if it's been used for anything else in the last 50 years. Not only does Young Living have beautiful organic farms, but they also have distillation facilities on site to ensure perfect distillation timing. Young Living uses proprietary low pressure and low temperature distillers made of stainless steel, and they can guarantee this because Gary Young has either built the distilleries himself or has inspected them himself. Gary Young is starting to get up there in age, however, he's not slowing down in his, he's creating new oils, starting new farms, like he was just like going crazy. But so he and his wife Mary are globetrotters that have their hand in every aspect of the business. Gary is a farmer and is insistent that he has only the best farm managers working for him. He's built 9 farms around the world and is completely open about his farming practices. And so one of the things that is really important to him is that all the farms are open to go see, even if you're not a member of Young Living. And so for anyone that's familiar with farming at all, if a farmer is willing to open his farm up and say, hey, come check out what we're doing, that's a pretty good indication.
There's
Just
nothing to hide.
right, they have nothing to hide, and it's they're willing to be vulnerable and transparent, and that is just really encouraging. So Young Living loves for their members to be part of planting the seeds, harvesting, and also participating in the distillation process. Young Living uses its own internal labs in addition to third-party audits to verify that international purity and potency standards are met and surpassed, and there are no pesticides or chemicals used on their farms. They actually have crews that go and handpick the weeds. So I think it was last year, my leader Nicole, she actually interviewed a couple of the crew members while they were out working in the fields and just asked them questions about how they're treated as employees and if their pay is fair and all those kinds of things. And I mean, the guy that she posted the video that she interviewed, like he was just as happy as can be, like loved his job, like it just was just really cool to just get a glimpse of the fact that it's not just that they care about not using pesticides and those kinds of things, but it's also they care about the people that are working for them too. So Young Living was founded in 1993 and is the oldest and most trusted essential oil company in the world. Young Living has over 20 years of research and experience, and they're the world leader in producing and guaranteeing 100% pure and potent, genuine therapeutic grade essential oils. So you heard me say therapeutic grade essential oils a few times. So just to give you as a picture, there's typically four different classifications of essential oils. And so the first one is, the classification is floral water, which is a low quality essential oil that can be found in hair and skin products. Then there's perfume quality, which contains chemicals and solvents. Then there's food quality essential oils, though they may still contain chemicals even though it states that it's organic and natural and certified. So again, like I said, as educated consumers, it's important that we don't take anything that we hear at face value. So just because something says it has pure essential oils in it doesn't mean that that is actually true, that they're pure. So so it is important that we figure out and question when it says this product is natural or this product has pure essential oils in it. Well, what does that really mean? Like, what are they really saying? So the final classification of essential oils is therapeutic grade, which means that an oil can be quality tested and proven to be pure. Only one company can say that about their oils, which is why I only recommend using Young Living essential oils. So there are 3 main ways that we can use essential oils.